Hi, my name is Hillary Beard, and I am the co-author of Promises Kept: Raising Black Boys to Succeed in School and in Life, the research-based companion guide, and the parenting book for the parents of Black, African American, and Black biracial children. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about parenting. So I had the privilege and the honor yesterday of being on The Real Black News, the podcast of journalist and podcaster Rakia Mays. It's a really amazing show. You should check it out. It's about all sorts of news that's happening in our community that you may not know about because it doesn't make the mainstream news. And a lot of it is good news. So Rakia and I were having this really wide-ranging conversation about parenting Black children, and she asked me about disciplining Black children and particularly punishment. And so we had what I think is a really important conversation. I want to repeat some of it again here. So what I'd like you to know is that the word discipline, the root of it, the D-I-S-C-I-P-L, those letters in the word discipline, are actually the same D-I-S-C-I-P-L that we find in the word disciple and some other words that have to do with education. So a disciple is a student, and somebody who we're disciplining is our student as well. In this particular case, we're teaching them how we want them to behave. So when we're disciplining our children, we're teaching them. We're educators. So in American society, unfortunately, when it comes to Black and brown children, the word discipline is often confused, mistaken, conflated with the word punishment. And so punishment can be a form of discipline, but it's not the only form. It's not the go-to form. It should be a form of last resort. There are many different ways to discipline a child, and punishment should not be where we start. So the most powerful way of disciplining a child is to role model for them the behavior we want them to follow, right? Many of us, we learn by watching, and children particularly do. But in a society that's disproportionately punitive toward our children, whether toward Black people, whether it's what we see in the criminal justice system or with police violence and brutality towards us, or in schools where large studies as large as all of the children between 7th and 12th grade, followed for 5 years in the entire state of Texas, right? Where we learned that out of 83 different variables, ranging from, are you from a 2-parent family or a 1-parent family? What's your income? Do you already act out? Those kinds of things. 83 things. One variable, and only one, determines whether a child will be suspended or expelled from school, and that is their race, and their race alone. Many other studies have shown the same thing, that is the big one, the biggest one, and the gold standard research. So this is not in doubt. And even in our social interactions, we're watching right now the hashtag Living While Black, where white people exercise their white privilege over us and call the police on Black people for random things like reading a book in their car, for walking their dog, children for selling water to make some money, cutting grass. You would think we would reward children for working and for earning money and being responsible and for that hustle, but apparently not for some folks. So society is excessively punitive, and we want to make sure that in our homes we aren't excessively punitive as well. Sadly, though, what the research shows is that we too have internalized these messages from the world, and we tend to be excessively punitive in our discipline as well. And so I want to invite all of us to consider some different options. And among the most wonderful of them are strategies that have to do with hugging and loving and being affectionate toward children. That's a form of discipline. It's also a form of discipline to praise children. These are really powerful behaviors. Hugging them, loving them, being affectionate toward them, praising them. These are really powerful behaviors in a world that's disproportionately cruel to them from the moment that they walk out our door. So try them. Enlist the help of other members in your village, whether it's your partner, your significant other, whether it's your mom or your dad or your sister or the neighbors or your sister friend, another close family that's caring for them, aunties and uncles. Maybe we can get everybody on the board with the affection, with the love. Try a little tenderness, right? Have our whole village, our Dora Milaje, being fierce warriors for affection. So this is an important tip and technique to use when disciplining our children in a world that's excessively cruel to them. Check back again soon for another parenting tip for those of us who are raising Black children. Thank you.